everybody, my name is Katrina, this is Piera from Piera Forde, and today we're going to do the How I Read book tag. I've seen this going around a little bit. I don't think the original video exists anymore. I've tried finding some links and there's no video that pops up. So I will leave the questions down below, and we have done the, what is it, is it the Fantasy Fun Tag? Fantasy Fun Tag. We've done that over on her channel as well. So that'll be linked down below. Go check that out after you've watched this video. But without further ado, let's get to the question. Yeah. How do you find out about new books to read?
Generally,
she forces them down my throat.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm just like, read this book. So that's pretty much, and also the same for me. When people are like, read this book, I think you'd really like it, or it just seems like I've heard good things about it. Like if I've never heard of it, it's more of like, oh, maybe. Otherwise, it's like a...
When I'm in a bookstore and I see a book that I recognize, I've seen people talk about it, much more likely to be intrigued enough to go and pick it up and potentially read it. But obviously seeing things popping up multiple times on Booktube and on Twitter feeds and on Instagram and Instagram stories, like if I see it a lot, it's definitely
more likely to pick it up.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you get into reading? I mean, I can't remember that far back. I'm sure my parents probably read to me when I was younger, and then I just remember obviously learning to read in school and then buying my own books at those, like, they'd have those like scholastic book fairs that would
oh my god, I love those.
Yeah, and I'd pick out a few books and I would read those. So I think I've always really been interested in it. And at school we'd have dear time, drop everything and read.
That's cool.
Yeah, so there'd be like a couple of hours.
I really like that.
On one day a week. Yeah, it was the best. It was like Wednesday afternoon or something. We'd just spend an hour or two reading, and so like reading has just always kind of been there. So I don't really remember a time when I didn't know about books or anything.
Mine's pretty much the same. Actively, I remember like Maximum Ride was the first series that I started and therefore started to pick up other things.
Me, it was Twilight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely had like a break between like obviously like the start of high school. And then Twilight came out and I got back into it. And obviously that launched the YA genre.
Like it was Harry Potter, then Tamara Pierce, and then a bit of a break, and then Twilight, and that kind of reinvigorated my reading.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure we'll do the same.
How has your taste in books changed as you've gotten older?
Not even drastically, actually.
Like, thinking about the things I loved when I was younger, it was all fantasy. Thinking about the things I love now, it is all fantasy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, in terms of like going from middle grade to young adult and kind of dipping into some more of the adult stuff, I probably read a little more contemporary now.
I read less.
Actually, it's probably about the same. I do remember picking up a few contemporary books when I was younger, but very few. Still kind of the same now. Not a whole lot.
Yeah, I was
in terms of genre.
Primarily fantasy. I mean, I think I read a few more contemporary books like the last 2 years, and within the last year, like 2017, end of 2016, really like cemented me moving towards adult fantasy. Like I still dabble in YA, but I actively search now for more adult fantasy.
How often do you buy books?
Very.
It really depends. I go through some waves where I'll go to the bookstore or a couple of bookstores in one day and I'll buy a lot, and then I won't buy anything for the rest of the month. There's some weeks where I don't buy anything, and there's other weeks where I do buy quite frequently, because I don't often leave my house just to go to the bookstore.
That's true.
It's if I'm already at the mall or I'm already at work, where I literally work across the road from a bookstore. If I'm already out and the opportunity arises, I will check out the bookstore.
Yeah, I'm a bit the same. Oh, there are a few times where I'm like, no, I actually need to leave the house to get the next book. Or it's rare, but it does happen. But even like today, we've been in Melbourne for what, not even, maybe like just over 24 hours now, and I have 8, 9 books that I've obtained.
Yeah, it's a bit...
been given one, but like that'll last me. I say that'll last me, but then if I go back to work, you know, on Thursday and find a book, I'll be like, I'll buy it.
Yeah, because you work in a
sit
bookstore,
on my
so
shelf. Yeah, that's true. I'm around books. I have to.
How did you get into booktubing?
I'd seen a few people had just done reviews on their favorite books. I didn't know it was like a community thing. None of my friends at the time read, and I didn't have anyone to talk to, and I was reading a lot, and I felt that I really wanted to talk about them. I wanted to like discuss books. I wanted to discuss like fantasy. So you were one of the people that I remember watching at the beginning and being like, I wonder if we could ever be friends.
Look at us now.
Look at us now. Sharing a bed is how I like to put it.
I was about to say traveling Europe. I'm like, we're not in Europe. We're in Melbourne.
We can if you want.
One day.
I just remember watching and seeing that it was a thing, and there were things like tags, and it wasn't just reviews, and that people were like friends. And then I found out about like panels and events, and just kind of immersed myself more into the community.
I think I just Googled book recommendations, and a video popped up for a review, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I found a channel and I started watching all of their videos. I was like, I didn't know this existed. So I kind of dived into the booktube community just in its early days at that stage. So there wasn't as much people as there are today, but I was also really scared to booktube. So I started blogging first, because the people that I discovered, they had a channel and a blog. So I was like, oh, maybe I can try doing that first, see how I go. And then 3 months in, I was like, this isn't quite for me. I'm gonna get in front of a camera and try that out. And here we are today. How do you react when you don't like the end of a book?
Have you had across the room?
Yeah.
Yell. It depends why though. Like if I didn't like it because it was a good book and then it turned to shit, then I'm angry.
Yes.
If it was a good book and the ending just fucking floored me like Golden Sun, and like I'm still angry and I didn't like it because the things that happened hurt me, I love it even more.
Yeah, because even if you don't like the events that happen, it's not what you would have wanted for, like
your favorite
most of the
characters,
time, your favorite characters. A lot of the time it is the best ending for that story. And it's like, it wouldn't have been the book it is if it didn't have that ending. So that is definitely one thing. I'm upset about the events that happened, but I have to mourn and move on. If it is a good book and then the ending happens and you're like, what the actual shit was that?
That's happened so many times recently.
Then I get angry.
Yeah, those are kind of my main two go-tos.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I'll start a book and it's really good and then it just gets weird. Like I just finished The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert and it started really good and I was like, oh, this is great, I really like it. And then it got real weird real fast. And by the end I was like, I didn't hate it, but I was like, oh, I feel like I was like blue-balled. Like it started good and then it was just like, just kidding.
Sorry, we're going that way.
Yeah.
How often do you take a sneak peek at the end of a book to see if there is a happy ending? We were talking about this last night.
Amazing.
So I used to have, it was almost a compulsion to read the last paragraph to a page of a book before I started the beginning. And it wasn't for any particular reason that I wanted to know what happened. It was what I did, and it was a habit that took a really long time to kick. I don't do that anymore, and I do not search for spoilers.
I'm a big spoiler fiend. I love spoilers. I hate being surprised in any aspect of my life. So I go hunting for spoilers. If people get an edition before me, or a copy before me, or they read the book before me, I'll go, who dies, who lives, what's the main general plot points. I don't actually flip to the end of a book. I'll just be like, you know, does this character live or die? Don't tell me how, just do they live or die? As opposed to like, I don't want you to, like I'll still read it and still get the same feelings about it. I don't like not knowing things because I'm a control freak.
It's still trying to wrap my head around that, but the fact that like in every aspect of your life you don't like surprises, it's understandable that it translates into books, but I'm still just like
birthday surprises. People are like, what do you want for your birthday? I will give you a list, a very detailed list of what I like.
Better not stray from that list. The last question is, who are you going to tag? I think a lot of people have done this. I'm not sure if this is the same tag that existed and did the rounds like 4 years ago or not.
Oh.
So I'm gonna see if I can find some people to tag that haven't done this video, and I'll leave them down in the description below. If you would like to do this tag, you are more than welcome to. So take this as an official tag. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to go over to Piera's channel and check out the fantasy fun tag.
And we will have fun.
So much fantasy fun.
So much fun fantasy.
Yes. Love the fantasy, as we mentioned in this video. That will be linked down below. But I will see you guys soon with a new video. Until then, I'll talk to you in the comments. Bye!